gear type Lopez and our team media dog workers today. This session features 10th seeded Miami and head coach Mario Cristobal and the Hurricanes offensive and defensive coordinator, jointly moderated by me and the Miami communication staff. Each individual will appear separately and ask a question, whether in person or via Zoom. If you're on Zoom, please change your full name to your full first and last name and use the raise hand function to indicate you want to ask a question. Cameron, we'll start with you with questions in the room.
Start with an opening statement from Coach Cristobal and go into questions.
Okay, thank you, Cam. Again, just wrapping up this past Saturday, just really proud of our team going on the road against a really good football team in a challenging environment and just showing grit, toughness, and resiliency, and just responding really well to some really critical situations. Appreciate our fans for the way they traveled and showed up, felt them, and really appreciate them being there, and just cleaned up the film, learned from it, and quickly turned the page over to our opportunity coming up here in the Cotton Bowl. So with that being said, questions, please.
Before your questions start, if you can please state your name and media outlet or affiliate, and we'll go right into questions.
Will Manson, WPLG TV Miami. I'm curious, you mentioned the fan excitement, and you obviously know this program well. What is the feeling you've gotten from the alumni, from former players, just since the win and knowing what's ahead? Text messages to you, well wishes, things like that over the last 48 hours or so.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a little bit overwhelming in a positive manner, and at the same time, we've learned our lesson before with attention and praise, how that can become intoxicating, right? If you listen to too much of it. So, but it's awesome to see a lot of the former players at the game and being on our sideline. It's great to hear from guys that kind of heard from them all year long, but the continued support and the building of momentum by having more and more guys reconnect, I think that's great. And our alumni reunions are just jam-packed every single year, and we expect that to happen this spring as well. But certainly a lot of momentum and enthusiasm, and it's always awesome to have.
Mario, Adam Lopez, South Florida Sun Sentinel. You mentioned on the radio this morning talking about like the tough, environment for Carter to make his kicks. I just wanted to clarify: are you keeping him as a starting kicker going into Ohio State?
As of right now, yes. We don't. I don't see a reason to change. I know that was not the best outing. We were, I believe, 1 of 4. I think for all of us that were there at the game, know that those conditions were extremely difficult to not only kick but also throw the ball. And everything that we've seen in practice and the conditions and the places we're going to play are more conducive to having the type of success that he has had. And we do trust him. We trust the operation, and we will go forward with him. But we always do keep positions competitive because Bert Auburn has done a great job as well, so has Will Rocha. But we will go into this week with our guys starting.
And then I know you mentioned you felt hopeful about Motore, Ahmad Moten, and Zachariah Poyser after getting banged up on Saturday. A couple other guys, I know Damari Brown and Dalen Upshaw got added to the injury report last week, and I think Jacoby got banged up a little bit on Saturday, but just how do you feel about those guys going into the next game?
Well, Dalen sustained a foot injury in practice last week, which was one of those things where you just can't predict. Foot injuries are tricky. He sustained one, so he'll be out for a significant amount of time. You mentioned Jacoby. Jacoby's fine. ZP, he's fine. I think Mo will be fine. Obviously a physical game. Who else did you mention?
Damari Brown.
Damari Brown, it's a little bit longer, but we're hopeful that we're going to get a favorable response here in a bit. But I cannot say he's better off than being questionable. I would leave him as questionable.
Mario, Jordan McPherson, Miami Herald. With Coach Heatherman, now that you've been around him for 11 plus months, what have you learned about him that maybe you didn't know coming in? And just what has been the biggest thing that stood out to you about the way that obviously the defense has performed and what he's been able to do to get the defense in the position that it's in?
He's, I would say, consistently, he's just always in a state of growth and development. And I think it's really infectious. It's permeated the room, really the building. I think when either side of the ball plays to a level like that or has that much of a, I would say, drastic improvement in its level of play, it affects the other side as well. He's just extremely respected, not only for his knowledge and for his ability to make players better, but because of his time invested. I think as time has gone on, our guys, our staff, everyone has gotten to realize that he's not only an elite coach, he's also an elite person. So things that aren't surprising considering the resources, or I would say the sources in the hiring process that came to the table for him. He's been that and more.
The lack of penalties in that environment at Texas A&M, what do you feel like that says about the overall operation and growth in that area?
Yeah, that was such a huge point of emphasis when we hit that rut in the middle of the season, and it's great to see the hard work and the assessment and then the adaptations pay off. We had, I believe, one pre-snap on defense, a delay on offense, and that was it. We didn't jump off sides on offense. So systematically it worked. We used a few different cadences. Obviously, we don't get into exactly what those are in something like this, but really excited about the way that our players just took on that challenge and never let the environment dictate our performance.
Gabby Rudy at 24/7. Everyone knows Malachi Tony, Bryce Fitzgerald, what they did on Saturday. Third Scroggins gets in there, gets a tackle. Josh Moore has a catch. Can you just talk about the development, recruiting to put those guys in position to play in a playoff game?
No doubt. No, the high school recruiting continues to, the uptick of it has been awesome. Yeah, third makes a tremendous play on the quarterback on power read. Josh Moore and Malachi, I'll say them both because both of them are involved. Their blocking during the game was just as valuable as anything else that our entire team did. They were very physical. They were involved. They affected, the ability to, pop some bigger runs. And their route discipline was excellent as well. Felt that we had them on some plays. It was difficult to throw the ball, but those guys playing as well as Bryce and a few other guys, again, I think speaks loudly to their commitment to player development, the caliber of player that we're recruiting, and is coming here to the University of Miami, and a great sign of things to come.
Hey Mario, I don't know what to say, Matt Shodell from Canesport. I don't know if I'm saying it anymore, but with a game like this, you guys in Ohio State have battled out for recruits, right? And in the old days, a game like this, you'd say, oh, what a recruiting impact the win would have. In this NIL era, is that still true? Like, if Miami wins this game, is that a massive recruiting boost, or is it like sort of a different era now, and how does that sort of shake out in those terms?
I think every recruiting process is different. I wouldn't lump any of those things together. And I also think that the recruiting season, even though it's part of the regular season, I think that's also a season within itself. It overlaps with everything else, but we've seen it go all kinds of different ways. Teams playing each other and guys going to their respective school of choice due to other reasons, right? So I don't know. I think to each his own process really is what I think of that.
You mentioned quite a few times since the game about the grit, the fight, the determination you saw at Texas A&M. I'm curious, now at this stage in the tournament, all the teams are talented, right? But how would you quantify the value of those intangibles?
As it relates to football, always at the forefront. I can't imagine a team getting this far into the season, right? You start off with 136 teams, now you're down to 8. I can't imagine a team getting to this point without having those in some way, shape, or form on their roster. And everybody's banged up. Everybody has been, at some point, had to overcome some type of adversity, and you're going to be in games now where those margins are now like razor thin. So, got to have it, got to grow it and continue to develop it. I don't think it's something that's static. It just doesn't stay the same. I think every week has its challenges, and like Coach Johnson used to tell us, you're always either getting better or you're getting worse, right? So you always have the power of choice.
Just Hospitalis, NBC6, a lot of the players after the game, after the win, they were already thinking about Ohio State. They're like, we're thinking about them now. What does that mean about this group knowing that the job's not done yet? And what have you seen from them as you guys get ready for a tough Buckeyes team?
Mentality and resiliency of the team they were awesome on their way in, and I credit to them, credit to the guys in the locker room, the coaches in the building, the staff, really everybody's involved, the training room, the strength conditioning staff, everybody. Everybody has a hand in it, but I think we've done a good job wiring our program. That's staff included as well, to talk a certain way, think a certain way. And I don't mean robotic. I mean as it relates to processes, as it relates to being a competitor and what that really means, especially as it relates to, you know, a sport that, I mean, will tear you down and break you down if you let it. And it's going to demand of you your very best. And it's going to demand that you respond in some situations that's going to make or break your season. So that part is really exciting for me because I feel that this team, in terms of challenges and throwing difficult scenarios and situations at them, is when I think we're at our best.
And just to follow up, you know, obviously it's been a day since finding out all this, you know, looking ahead to Ohio State, what have you guys seen from them? There's also a South Florida kid, Jeremiah Smith, who's already, you know, talking about this. And what in general have you seen from the Buckeyes team?
Sure, they're the defending national champions. They have elite talent, some really high caliber players, and you know, they just about in every category, offensively and defensively, they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the country. So they do a great job coaching. They've got great physical and mental toughness, and have played some elite football throughout the course of the season.
Yeah, I was football field. Going to the Texas A&M game, the kids were very vocal. Today, Jeremiah Smith had a quote. What is your message to your kids about press conferences and the things they say, if any?
I have too much respect for the game of football, having played it, to openly just come out and speak about other teams. To each his own. I don't judge. I don't. Like, different programs have different ways of doing things. It's not part of our culture. Always respect your opponent. Always prepare to the highest standard humanly possible, and just go from there. You know, surely you know, people at this stage, at this level, and at this point in the season, everybody has great talent, great players. I don't think any extra motivation is needed, or I don't think you have to create it, fabricate it. You know what I mean?
With Jeremiah Smith, obviously cross paths from the recruiting trail, South Florida kid. Just what stands out about him, and what are the challenges in defending him?
Well, I mean, he's an NFL prototype player, like right now, probably last year. So I think him and the entire receiving corps, they pose those type of challenges. Big, explosive, fast, create separation, beat man coverage, find the soft spots in zone, great blockers in the run game, play hard the entire game, complemented by a great quarterback and an offensive line that gives them plenty of time and has the ability to run the ball. They have really run the ball right through people the entire season and have been dominant. So they, again, they play like a team that's, again, the defending national champions.
And similarly, what have you seen on film from Julian Sand?
Same thing, just very poised, accurate, buys time, great pocket presence, great decision maker, knows exactly where to go with the ball. So obviously he's very much in command of the system, doesn't get frazzled. Big moments, has shined in big moments. Again, top shelf, you know, Sunday player.
You mentioned this morning on the radio that Carson Beck, in conversations on the sideline, said, hey, might be good to run the ball. How rare is that type of feedback to get from the quarterback, and how rare is it for a quarterback to say, hey, let's run the ball, that might be best for us?
You know, not rare from him. I mean, he's seen it before in different games, and I guess it's the trait of guy just wants to win. You know, we've always said it when talking about Carson. He's not interested in stats and anything regarding personal accolades. He wants to win, and he did see some things, as well as Coach Dawson. He saw some things in there that we eventually got to. You know, it was a very low play count game, very low. I think we were at 48, 49, if I'm not mistaken. So, but yeah, probably rare, right? But certainly, I think an elite trait. You know, I do.
Mario, your offensive line, obviously, those guards and tackles have been together for a good bit. James Brockermeyer comes in. This year is basically one new guy. How did he integrate himself as quickly as he did to the group, and what have been your thoughts on how he's been this season?
Very quickly. I mean, he's very professional. He's got those bloodlines, right? Whole family's been doing it forever. And that offensive line room, again, led by Coach Mirabal, has a certain level of DNA as well. Very high standards, extremely hard work ethic, high level work ethic, I should say. Guys that there's no BS to that group, right? I mean, they operate as one all the time and everything. And a guy like James being the same type of guy, we felt it was a perfect fit. So it was a seamless transition. We've been blessed with some really good centers over the past few years, and he stepped right in. He's been awesome all year, really has been. And he's tough, and he's physical, he's smart, he's an absolute grinder. Just absolutely love what he's done for the program this year.
I know you guys focus on the present, but in talking with any alumni I've reached out to, has anybody from the 02 team brought up that national championship game as you guys?
Yeah,
get
we're
ready for
focused on the present. We're focused on the present.
All right, seeing no more hands in the room or questions in the room, Scotty, I'll turn it over to you to moderate the participants on Zoom.
Thanks, Cam. First question is gonna come from Nick Hamilton. Nick, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Obviously, a dominant defensive performance against Texas A&M. What point of this season did you see this defense really turn that corner and really be this dominant defense that everybody's witness to right now?
I mean, certainly the last 5 games have been a really impressive stretch, but I think we felt that coming along towards the end of spring and then in fall camp. But I thought game one when they were challenged by a really high caliber team and high caliber players, I think we all felt right there that it could be special, and I don't think we ever took a step back. I think there might have been a couple of hiccups here and there, but I mean, you look at what they've accomplished from a points per play, points per game, yards per play, all the critical data, forcing turnovers, right? Reducing the amount of explosives. Thought that all those things have really improved dramatically to the point where it's been a steady climb. I don't think there was ever one particular point, but really excited for those guys, because watching film with those guys today, the only thing they wanted to talk about was the areas of improvement. So they know that there's more in them, there's more in us, and they're excited to get practicing and improve those things. Am I looking there? I kind of feel weird. Okay, there. Thank you.
Our next question is gonna come from Dan Tortora. Dan, go ahead.
Coach, not just representing you, but representing the entire conference of the ACC, just what you can say to the test you had this season within the conference and what it means to have a torch that you can bear for the entire conference and not just to you.
Well, again, we're really proud of our conference and all the members in it, and I think the more people get an opportunity to play against teams that we play against week in and week out, they'll realize and acknowledge more and more that we have a great conference with great teams. And I think playing in our conference is probably the most important factor in preparing us for the postseason. The caliber of teams, the caliber of coaching, the quarterback play in our league, the way that the trenches have really come to this point where we have a lot of players that are going to be Sunday players all across the conference, all those things. It's great to shine a light on all that stuff.
Our next question is gonna come from Patrick Murphy. Go ahead, Patrick.
Hey, Coach, thanks for doing this.
Yes, sir.
Obviously, you guys played this weekend. Ohio State has that time off. What are the advantages for you guys and maybe some disadvantages on the other side that you get from not playing for so long?
You could never tell. I mean, that's gone back and forth in so many different ways over the years. And I think if you could, put in a bottle and sell it, you'd be a billionaire, man. It's the bye weeks and the extra time off sometimes has been great for people and sometimes it hasn't, and then the vice versa as it relates to playing. So to each his own, right? However you use it and what you get out of it is what ends up showing up on game day. But I don't think there's an exact predictor of success or non-success as it relates to time off.
Our next question is gonna come from Dan Hope. Dan, go ahead.
Hey Mario, just wanted to follow up on Jeremiah Smith. What do you remember about the process of recruiting him back when he was in high school?
Elite player, great family, first class in the way he handled every part of it.
Our next question is going to come from Bella Wells. Go ahead.
Thanks, Coach. Such a heartwarming recovery by Tony in the last game. Do you think it's the team dynamic that makes this year so groundbreaking for the Miami Hurricanes?
Well, I think it's always going to be about the people. But I'm glad you mentioned that because that's a great moment. I mean, what an unbelievable moment from a sports, an athletic standpoint, but also from a life standpoint, right? I mean, the moment something didn't go as planned and there's a downturn, you know, from an emotional standpoint to see so many people just race and gravitate to him to reassure the fact that we believe in you and we trust you and you're going to make a play to change this thing. And lo and behold, it ended up working out that way. So I think it's the best part about football, right? I mean, the lessons that come with it. I mean, they really, you know, tremendous relation to what actually goes on in life as well. So loved it.
Coach, we got 2 more questions for you before we let you go.
Yes, sir.
One is coming from Brandon Stone.
Hello, Coach. Good to hear from you. I wanted to get your thoughts on Keontae Scott. You went about getting him, what he's meant to you, the kind of human he is.
Keontae Scott, the epitome of a competitor, of a great teammate, my lord, of a performer, of a guy that when the lights come on, there's zero flinch. A guy who, you know, sometimes in football, you know, you come across guys that find a way to stay in the training room or find a way out of the training room. That guy he mentally, his approach from day one when he was injured, he mentally just was decisive, was hell-bent, was determined to come back stronger, faster, healed up completely before, you know, most people thought he would. And then to go out there and perform at the level he did with limited practice reps, I haven't been around a guy like that at that position or maybe any position. That guy is, he's different. He's different and he is an absolute honor and joy to be around at all times. A great example for our team, for our program, for people in athletics in general. That guy is, obviously I kind of like the guy a little bit, right? So he's awesome.
I'm getting that feeling, and we like him up here in San Diego, calling from his hometown here. Speaking of hometown, he actually
I've recruited him for a long time. I actually recruited him when I was coaching at Oregon. Yeah, he sent me a picture the other day during one of his unofficial visits. So we go back a long, long way. So I told him I had to move across the earth to finally get him to come play for us. And it's great to, you know, in football you always cross paths at some point or another with people that we maybe saw, you know, came across once before, but to be able to cross paths with him again and be on the same team is awesome.
We love that full circle kind of moment. My last question about that full circle, when he was in high school, Felix, in his last high school game here, he intercepted Julian Saint's brother, Aiden, in the championship. I'm wondering, based on that connection, what your thoughts are on Julian and his abilities and what you can see out of him.
I think games like this with 2, you know, storied programs, I think people are always going to want to, I don't know, pull out history and draw, you know, comparisons and all that other stuff. And moments like that, they're valid, they're real. It's what makes college football awesome, the pageantry. But this game is the 2025 Hurricanes and Buckeyes going at it, right? To be determined by the 22 guys on the field, one snap at a time. So that's going to be the focus, and that's where all our attention will be.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Last Dan Tortora on Zoom. Dan, we'll go back to you and we'll wrap up right there.
Yeah, Coach, back to Malachi Tony, just going through those moments that he had, almost returning the punt for a touchdown and then having the fumble, going back to him, calling a play for him, just what it says about your staff's belief in him, your belief in him, to say, hey, we're going to give you another shot to get this thing right.
I mean, he's earned it. You've seen him play all year. Yeah, I wish you could watch him practice. I wish you guys could see what he does on a daily basis. You couldn't trust anybody more than how we, and I say we, our entire program, players, coaches, staff, how we trust him, and that he's earned that. That was not something that was just handed out. He's earned it.
All right. Coach, thank you very much.
Good. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.